Yo, welcome back. Now, in this last episode, we did the breakable barrels, and you can extend that system to crates. I won't do that until it's time for us to build the level. My computer's screaming at me. I'm about to close Blender. But in this episode, what we're going to do is we're going to make a door. So in Blender, I made a little quick door. And if you're going to make a door, all you need is a frame and a door, two separate meshes. Okay? So get a frame and a door. Now that you have those two things, let's bring it into our game. So in our game, there's a folder. So in the same assets folder, let's put a folder for doors, because we'll probably have more than one kind of door. But right now, let's just do a main door. All right, so I'm gonna close this down because I already exported them as FBX, and I'm gonna bring them into my game here. So it should be on my desktop, door and door frame. I'm gonna do the door first, and then I'll do the door frame. Import all. Okay, well, we've got that in there. Now let's import the door frame in the same folder even. I don't mind. I could have done them both at the same time, but I didn't want to because of material's sake. So now that we've got this in here, let's go ahead and we got both of our meshes. Let's right click. I'll right click in the same folder, make a blueprint class, call it actor, and we're going to call it BP underscore door for blueprint door. Now open that up, and we need to add two static meshes, but we're going to do it in a specific order. So add the first static mesh right here, and this static mesh is going to be the frame. So you can actually call it the frame. And for the static mesh, we need to put the door frame in there. So put it in there like that. And I'm going to save everything here. Now for the second static mesh, it should be attached to this static mesh here. So right underneath it, well, let's highlight it. I'm going to do static mesh again. Oops, not skeletal mesh. Whoops. I'm going to do static mesh again, but I'm going to select the door this time. So add a static mesh door. Perfect. And if you lined it up correctly in your Blender, then it should come in lined up perfectly here. And so now all we've got to do is rotate the door with code. So compile and save. And let's go ahead and open and close this door. Now, to open and close the door, we want to be able to know if you're on the entrance side or the exit side. So the first thing we should do is make two I think that we should make two, what do you call it, box collisions here. But before that, let's go ahead and open the door. So when you walk into the door's vicinity, you want to be able to press E to open the door. In order for that to happen, we need to go to our class settings, implemented interfaces, and add our interface that we created a while back, which was our interaction interface. Perfect. Now that you've got that there, you can interact with this door. So let's add to the frame, because we don't want this moving. So let's add to the frame, and we're going to add a box collision. Okay. Now this one box collision right here is going to be called enter. Okay. And we're going to make it smaller, but use the box extent to make it smaller. Do not use the scale. I've learned that if you use the scale, it's going to mess you up. You won't get the desired outcome. So on this side of the door, I want it to be enter, right? And we can duplicate this same thing. So duplicate it, and we're going to call it exit. And this one's going to go on the opposite side of the door. So depending on what side of the door you are, we're going to be able to open up the door in a specific direction. Cool. So now we need to write the code for that door. So inside that box, which is going to be enter, let's start on that one first. Enter. We want to open this door. If you can look at the rotation right now, everything is zeroed out, and that's what we want. But we want the door to open up this way. So about 110 degrees. Let's just do 100, right? Let's do 100 degrees. So if you look there though, it's negative 100. All right. So let's make the door open up negative 100. First thing we need to do is press enter. Enter. Or sorry, do a custom event. Call it enter. Call it enter door. All right, cool. Enter door. All right, now that the enter door is on, what you need to do is we need to write the event for the door to open to negative 100. So we're going to get this door right here, and we're going to set rotation. Just say rotation. Set relative rotation. Right? And we want to do it, if you pull this thing down, it'll allow you to sweep. So you could do this, or you can move component 2. Watch this, move component 2. Now, if you move component 2, this would be a little bit cooler because you can ease it in and you can make it over time. So let's use the move component 2. And so we're going to move the door to the rotation. If you can remember right here, it was in the Z, negative 100. So let's go negative 100. Negative 100. And that's enter the door. And over time, let's make it, like maybe a second. Or, yeah, 0.75 maybe. And you can do ease in and ease out to make it smoother. But either way, we need to get the door and say get relative location. Plug that in. Because we do not want the location to change, meaning the X, Y, and Z. We only want the rotation to change. And the other rotations can stay 0. So that's perfect. So how do we call this function enter door? Let's just call an interact. Interact, and you'll get the event interact, and then you can say enter door. Now, this is just for testing. Let's just see if this is working right. Go up to your door, make sure it's movable over here. And if that is the case, everything should be working correctly. Okay. And make sure these enter and exit is not on the door, that they are on the frame. All right, so let's test this out. Let's put this door in our world of the blueprint and make sure it's working. So this way we can, oh, it's so cute, so little. This way we can test this door out. We can actually change the size too, since we know it's in our world. So remember how to do this before. We'll just click on the door here, and we're going to just adjust the size. In this case, it's going to be the default. Okay, that's a good size. Compile, save. All right, now let's test it out. If the third person character goes up to the door, oh, what did I pause it? All right, they go up to the door and press E, it should open. Perfect, perfect. Now, if you can't walk through your door because you made a custom door, let's go ahead and fix that too. So go to your static meshes. For one, I'm gonna go to the door frame. It'll pull up this. On the right-hand side, make sure nanite is selected. That's important. But more important is make sure this project default collision complexity is changed to use complex as simple. There, that should allow you to walk through the door frame. So let's try that one more time. We press E, and he can go through the door frame. Now, if you want the door to close automatically, then we need to write another function for that. So let's go back into the door blueprint, and let's continue to write some functions for this door to make it dope. So let's do another custom event. So custom events, and we're going to call it close door. And this time we just take the door, copy all of that, copy, paste, and we're going to move the door to rotation 0. Perfect. So when they interact with the door, The door is going to open. Then we can delay for about what, 4 seconds or so, 3 seconds? Let's say 4 seconds, and then close door. Now the door is going to automatically close behind you. And so you open it up, you wait about 4 seconds, and it's going to automatically close. Perfect. Try it again. Yeah. All right, perfect. Now let's handle coming back from this side of the door. But before we do, let's put some variables or some booleans in the door. So go back to your blueprint, and we're going to put some variables over here. We're going to say in is in enter, and then do one is in exit. Is in exit. Don't really have to do two, but for me and my brain, that's how my brain works. All right, so the way that we're going to use these is when you open that door, we need to check, are you in enter? So pull off is in enter, and then do a branch, connect that up, and connect it up right here, and it's a true. So if they are in enter, then we need to enter the door, and then it'll close the door. If not, then we need to do another branch and check if they are in exit. Because if they're in exit, we need to exit the door, which we haven't set up a code for that. So exit door is going to be taking this door and moving it the opposite way, so plus 100. So let's go ahead and write a custom event, and we're going to call it exit door. And you can literally copy and paste everything again. So it's already copied for me. I'm just going to paste it. And all we have to do is change this negative 100 to positive 100. Bop, bop, bop. Now, when, make sure this is hooked up too. So isn't enter, isn't exit, then they're going to exit the door. So exit door. And then they can also delay 4 seconds and then close the door. So now your door is all the way set up. The only thing we haven't done yet is we haven't told the door when you're in enter and when you're in exit. So grab off the enter one that we made earlier and go all the way down on component begin overlap, other actor, third person character. And what we're going to do is when that third person character overlaps this enter, we're going to set is in enter to true. And now when they get outside of that box, so click back on enter, scroll down on end overlap, we're going to just copy and paste that and set it to false. Same thing that we need to do with the exit. So on the exit, let's go down on begin overlap. We're going to do this copy and paste. And the other actor's object, instead of is an enter, let's delete that. Let's say is an exit. Set that to true. And lastly, you need to go to the exits, and on end overlap, let's go to copy all of this here, plug it up, and the only thing we need to change is we need to set it to false. That way, it's going to know if we're in the enter, do whatever. If not, if we're in the exit, do what we need to do, and then close the door. So let's check that out to make sure our door opens both ways so that it makes it convenient in our game to go through the door both ways. So you open up, bop, bop, closes. You come over here, open up, and now it opens up the opposite way. So now your door works both ways, and that's a very clean door system. And you can put these doors all over your game. One more cool thing that we can do to end off the video, because I know I like to add the little variable stuff. Let's make it so that some doors are locked and some doors are not. So real quick, back in your door blueprint, let's make a variable called locked, L-O-C-K-E-D. And I can even put a question mark just so you know you're asking, is it locked? Now, If it's locked, don't do any of this stuff. So before you even check this first branch, let's check and see if it's locked. And this is on the interact. If it's locked, don't do anything, but if it's not locked, do all of that stuff. Cool. Here's another thing you could do. So make sure the locked is an eyeball on. And it doesn't have to start off locked, but let me show you something. Now what we can do is we can click on this door, and on the right hand side, if it's locked, we're not going to be able to get in. So let's click locked and let's test it out. Let's see. I'm pressing E, he can't get in the door. But if I click the same door, stop the game, click the door, unlock, now the door works just like we coded it. So that way you can have, like, when you're doing level design, you can have like variable doors. So that's all I wanted to show you in this episode. I will holla at y'all in the next one. Peace.
Run to the money, on the feet, don't fail. The DA and the judge, on the do they best to jail.